Are you ready to start the actual thing?
Yeah, dude, let's go.
All right. Where's my script?
I mean, your script
Hey,
was...
welcome to the welcome to the newest episode of our communist dating podcast, Too Many Red Flags.
Oh,
I'm
that's a
Griffin,
good
and
one.
I'm joined by Anthony.
Hello.
And today
that
we're
was a
talking
good
about
one.
What are we talking about? Thank you.
I guess communism. Communism. That's a good point. I mean,
And that is now the name,
I like that.
or
name.
it's to be titled later. Let's find out. I don't know. That seems like a good. I have to cross that.
That was
one
good.
out now.
That was good. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm hooked, and we haven't even started yet.
Cool.
Also, I just have we just have notes everywhere, which I'm realizing now. I was taking notes last episode while we were going, which is a little bit confusing because at some point we probably will go over them again. So
This is the first episode we're recording after we've released episodes. Technically, episode 2 is out today, which means that I actually have notes of comments that have been made
oh yes, I
from a couple things. One is that in episode 1 we talk about you mentioned like claw machine crazies, and you don't know what you meant by that.
Yep.
I know what you meant by that now. It's one of my friends.
Okay.
We went to the store together, and as we were leaving, she's like, "There's a claw machine. I'm doing it."
It's an addiction for people.
And she did. And apparently she dreams about claw machines too.
Okay,
They
that's
be
a little-
dreaming about claw machines.
That's a
it's
little
wild.
That's a little sad, but
What? What? They can't dream about claw machines?
I think it's like dreaming about a slot machine, like it's rigged, right? Like I guess that's fine. Do they win? I guess that's really the question.
I don't
feel
know.
like in
Do
my
they
dream,
win in their dream? Oh fuck. Okay, I'll be back to you in like 5 episodes again.
in 5 episodes, we will know. I feel like that's my problem. Do you win at your dreams? Like generally?
I don't have dreams, and when I do, they're very stressful.
So what do you mean like you don't have dreams? Like what does that fully mean?
I have like no consistent like actual dreams. I very, very rarely have dreams. I mean like once every couple months.
Holy shit. Wow.
And it's usually like a stress-induced dream.
Okay.
Like when my coworker who does a bunch of the more personable work at my job, they went on vacation for a week, and I had to fill their role for a bunch of time.
Yep.
As well as my own, and I was very stressed, and I had a dream where I went in on Monday and was told that they just quit, and that was now my job forever.
That's a horrible dream.
Yeah, it sucked. And that was on like a Saturday.
So I'm like blown away by that, actually. I dream maybe like twice a night. It is a consistent thing where I am dreaming, and
Oh.
like I think it's very weird. Allison's the same way. Like Allison like does not dream, and I think I just dream for the both of us is really how it goes.
That's a cute way to put it, but I just think you're a freak.
It's true. I mean, I think it's the fact that I am just thinking the entire time I'm trying to go to bed until my brain just fully shuts down, and then my subconscious is like, we still got to work through things, keep going. I think that's probably what's happening.
Yeah?
But really, like, if I was having a claw machine dream, I think I would just continually lose. I don't know if I ever
'cause
win.
dreams
in my
don't
dream.
go well, right?
Yeah, like I think dreams are usually like really mean to yourself.
Well, the problem is like dreams are like a weird cognitive space, so like things don't work like normal, but you feel like they should, but they don't, and they can't. Like when you have a dream about driving a car and you just cannot control the car for shit.
Yeah, for me it's running.
I have that one sometimes. Running.
Yeah, for me dream running is like when you're running in water and the water's up to like your chest. You like run really slow and awkwardly. That's how my dream running goes.
Huh.
And I assume there's something psychological there with that. That I'm sure someone listening to this podcast is like, oh, this happened to him early in his life. I don't know what it is. So you can read whatever that is.
I don't know if reading into dreams is at all any sort of scientific endeavor of any sort.
I do want to show you an article. It is it's the top dreams in every country.
Okay, I think the teeth falling out dream is going to be in there.
Okay, it is.
Yeah.
Like the world by and large is either teeth falling out or snakes. It's really one or the other. Yes,
Wow.
it looks like if you live in a place where there's a lot of snakes, you're afraid about snakes.
Oh, yeah, because it's like you're worried about snakes constantly because they're there.
Yeah, I mean
They're always watching.
It's really, if you live anywhere that isn't North America, Australia, or like parts of Europe, your dreams are about snakes. It's It's really kind of interesting.
Australia has snakes.
Yeah, but they talk about teeth. They're all, I don't know what it is. I think that for some reason.
Australia is weird.
Let me post the picture at least.
All right. Oh, wow. That's.
The pink is teeth falling out and then the green is snakes. And so snakes is just all of South America, a good portion of Africa, pretty much all of Russia and the Middle East. And then India. You
sent me the lowest resolution picture.
Valid. I do agree with that. And I was kind of hoping you just wouldn't notice it was low resolution.
No, because I couldn't read it. So I had to open it full size.
What about
There's no source available for this because I can't read it. I can tell that that's a co.uk link.
Yeah, go
that
to the
looks
next
high
one.
Oh, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. I have to zoom out of this one.
It is kind of funny that there's places in Africa where their dreams are just like their most common dream is death, which I guess isn't that much better than teeth falling out, but it's just death.
For the record, the pink is the human body and the green is animals and nature. It just happens that teeth falling out is most of the pink and snake is most of the green. Namibia is squirrels.
Why?
Chile is mice. Venezuela and Colombia are lice. But yeah, and then there's family in blue, which can be anything from pregnancy to marriage to baby to wedding.
So have you had the teeth falling out dream?
I've had it before, yeah.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure that we're at least at some base level of
once or twice, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Not that weird.
Okay.
Also a stress dream.
Also, I guess it makes sense. How many of your teeth fall out? Do you remember?
I don't know, just however long it takes to freak me the fuck out.
Okay.
It's usually like the molars in the back.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I just feel a lump in my mouth, and when I spit it out, it's like teeth. Usually they're in like chunks too. It seems like part of my jaw is coming with it because it's not like a singular tooth. It's like a chunk.
Okay. For me, it's like a waterfall of teeth. Like for me, it's just like they just like all are like dripping out of my mouth, like more than I probably should have. But my brain's like, this makes sense.
I have a very sincere question.
Okay.
Are we going to have to cut this out?
Nah, dude.
Are we gonna...
I don't think so.
I don't know if people are going to like talking about teeth.
I think they do. I think everyone in America has had this dream and goes, oh my gosh, I've had this dream. I think so.
But the other categories on this thing are love and relationships, money and objects, and death. There's not a lot of variety in death, apparently. It's kind of just death.
Yeah.
Oh, no, there is. There's death and the dead.
Oh, the dead.
That is a little bit different.
So is that...
Ethiopia dreams about shoes.
Aw.
Benin is stairs.
I mean, Madagascar's ex-relationship.
Is there enough people there? I guess.
I mean, yeah.
Ghana is sex. Hell yeah.
What about, what is that? Is it Fiji right above Australia?
Yeah, peacock.
Just peacock.
Just peacock.
That's actually a good question. Are there peacocks in Fiji? Like, are they just dreaming about random animals?
I gotta assume they're like a problem. Oh, also, Greece just dreams about hat.
That's awesome.
That's all it says. I don't, what is this? Mornings.co.uk. I don't.
Are there peacocks in Fiji? I don't know if there are. Or this is such a dumb question because of course there are.
Lists of birds of Fiji.
I know, I'm looking through them. I don't see.
You know what, maybe we just go to Fiji. It'll be like
I think we can hear. Hold on. I'm messaging Major about this.
Major doesn't live in Fiji.
I know, but it's close enough.
Is it? How close is it? It's not that close.
I think she'll know.
We just get water from there, dude. All right, well, we'll come back to that then.
We'll know.
All right.
In 6 episodes, we'll know. We'll know about the...
We'll know. I mean, when does Major wake up? We'll know.
Hours from now.
Hours.
We won't know.
I think she's awake.
I said that it was very important, so...
But, oh, yeah, big. Oh, yeah, that, the claw machine crazy friend of mine
yes.
who has the dreams, they are also the Illinois friend who I sent a picture of their texts about how much of a dumb bitch you are. In episode 1.
Am I gonna have to fight them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're I think we're gonna have to get them on, and you'll have to fight them.
So let me.
But
well, okay, hold on.
They also, importantly, gave me more information about the sand dunes.
Okay.
Is that there's trees underneath that are finally rotting, so you could just fall in a tree hole.
Oh my God, is that true? Are you lying to me?
I have no idea. I did not fact check them.
Okay.
Let me re-say that. I did not fact check them.
Michigan,
Jesus Christ.
sand dunes, trees underneath. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's the Daily
Yeah.
Mail, but like, oh God, fucking ads. Study, rotting trees cause mysterious holes in sand dunes. Oh God, mysterious holes that force the closure of a massive dune at an Indiana National Park after a 6-year-old boy fell into one
Indiana
and nearly died.
all?
No, so I don't know how.
Okay.
Google.
I don't know why you said again Indiana. Okay, whatever.
Well, it was more of just not Michigan.
Maybe
sand
they just
dunes.
meant sand dunes in general. Maybe I misread. I don't know.
Yeah, I think maybe we'll have to do some more research. I mean, so you're telling me this person are they from Illinois or are they from Chicago?
What's the difference? They're from Chicago.
Okay. When you tell me that they live 3 hours away from Chicago, I'm going to laugh and everything they've said is invalid.
No, they insisted they're from Chicago. And when I said your point about that's the only thing that matters, they agreed.
Okay.
So at least in that, you are considered correct by a native.
So the native of Chicago / Illinois says they don't hate Minnesota as much. Well, it's because they're just farther away. That's fine. Wisconsin is absolutely the worst. Not true. I'm just reading their text now. He's read that the rest of Illinois sucks, but Chicago is so good that it outweighs it. It doesn't. You just lied to yourself. You have the whole Windy City thing is bullshit. Like, it's just fucking dumb. It's just dumb. And okay, that is a good point. We are kind of biased. Like, I have set the limit or the expectation that we are a pro Wisconsin podcast, but then I did say we were pro Seattle and pro Washington. So,
I mean, I think the most important point is that within 4 or 5 episodes, I have successfully Ouroboros this podcast into repeating the same exact talking point from the beginning.
We do need to do a best of. You brought that up in episode 1, and I loved it so much. We have to do it.
And you mentioned that again in episode 2, which just released.
Did I?
Oh, no, it came up in episode 2.
Oh my gosh. It's great.
Or 3. No, wait, no. 3, which might be the episode right before this because I just edited that.
Also, people drive from Wisconsin to Chicago for work all the time. I think that people from Wisconsin that live on the border drive to Chicago just as much as people from the other side of the border drive to Wisconsin. So I think that's a moot point.
I think that I don't care and we need to talk about something new, actually.
Okay, well then don't tell me about all these lies, this garbage that's being brought up from Chicago people.
People are very interested in what I'm putting into my mouth recently.
What are you putting into your mouth?
No, nothing, just hypothetically. So in episode 2, released today, go back and listen. Right at the beginning, you asked me if I've ever eaten dog food, right?
Yeah.
And I go into this whole thing about how I would crunch on a milk bone, except they taste like garbage.
Yep.
Completely unrelated, this week, my coworker, the same coworker who went on vacation and I was stressed out, but the same coworker, they turned to me and they're like, okay, you know how there are animals that have smooth brains, like koalas?
Yep.
Hey, fun fact, do you know that some animals have smooth brains? If you haven't seen a koala brain and you're not squeamish, look it up.
I'm looking it up.
Just a koala's brain. It's very smooth.
Oh,
and it might
Jesus
illustrate my point better.
Christ.
Yeah, they're very stupid.
That's really funny.
They pull up this picture and they're like, do you want to put this in your mouth?
The brain?
Just like the pink ass image of a koala brain and how it's like smooth. Like, do you want to put this in your mouth? Does it look like it would give good mouthfeel? And I said yes.
You said yes?
It looks like a gummy. Looks like gum. I want to chew on it.
It looks like raw chicken, dude. Like,
I want to chew on raw chicken too. A little bit.
Also, I just want to, before we get too far, I want you to know that you said, hey, we have to talk about a new topic. And then when episode 2.
Oh, good. You caught on to my hypocrisy.
Yeah, the hypocrisy was immediately felt.
I'll scroll to somewhere, a different place in my notes. So it's not just notes about what we've already talked about. I hate that image.
It looks so.
That's a horrendous image of a koala.
It is. Like, it's got like pink eye or something.
Not good. I'm going to report this message. Can you delete that? Jesus Christ. Why can't I?
Are you afraid of, are we going to add that to the fear list?
I mean that image specifically because it's definitely AI generated.
Oh, you think?
Oh, for sure. Look at it.
The nose looks a little fucked up.
It's definitely Google image search is useless now because of AI art.
That's
and
unfortunate.
Art has heavy fucking air quotes on that one.
Well, that's sad. I feel bad for it.
But yeah, I've been getting asked a lot about what I want to put in my mouth.
How do they even think about that?
So there's this through line of the conversations we have where I have a supreme level of ADHD, and apparently it demonstrates in a very, very similar way to their sister. So she's just been asking me weird hypotheticals and see what my answers are so that she can compare me to her sister, and they're almost always very similar answers.
Interesting.
It's very weird. I feel like if I ever run into her sister, we are going to immediately have a Highlander situation because there can only be one.
I'm glad you know that reference. I really am. And I'm also surprised you do know that.
I've never seen the movie.
You've never seen the old fucking...
No, why the fuck would I watch Highlander?
I don't know why you would, but I know that, and I say there can be only one a lot, and people are always like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's Highlander.
Highlander,
Come on,
dude.
man.
Fight to the death. I was then going to ask you, like, okay, if that's one of the smoother brains, would you want to put, like, one of the most wrinkly brains in your mouth?
No.
I didn't Google that. That's just a human brain. I'm just asking if you would like to consume human flesh.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
But would you?
This is the dog conversation again, God damn it.
God, we're circling back.
This is the raw meat diet again. You think about the consumption of human flesh a lot.
I think I just want to know who would do it. You, a dog, other people. I just have to know. I have a little notebook, and I'm asking you, and in the notebook, it just says Griffin ? And then I'm just waiting, like my hands shaking. I'm like, is it going to be a yes or no? And I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for you to answer.
you have a pros and cons list, but
Yep.
it said it's will eat human, won't eat human,
Yeah.
and every person you meet you just put under one.
Yep. That's really what it is. It's a pretty long list now. I ask a lot of people, so.
What's the most insane person you've asked that question to? Like, who's the weirdest person you've asked that question to? Like, I'll tell a weird person. I'll tell you a story about a weird thing I said in front of like a person very high up in the business that I work at. It was pancake day, and my boss was making pancakes with the CEO, and I walked up and called him my little batter boy in front of the CEO of my company.
I don't know how you're not fired. It really is incredible.
Nobody does.
That's really great.
So, who's the weirdest person you've asked that question to about human flesh?
Honestly, probably like my nephew when he was like 1, right? Because they're just like chomping on you. And I think I probably just like whispered in his ear, like, would you eat me if you could? Just because I want to know.
Get a taste for it.
Yeah, I just want to know.
More important question.
Mm-hmm.
Would you?
Okay, so I think no, not right now. I think there's enough.
What?
I think there's enough food in between what I currently eat, right? Which is just like chicken and hamburgers and stuff, and human flesh, that I think I would need to traverse some of those hurdles first. Okay.
So you're saying we could work you up to it?
I think my general disdain for the human population would probably get me there over time. I can tell you, I mean, I could probably chart right now what it would be. If I had to guess, I would start with, do you guys have Cermak? Is Cermak a grocery store that you guys have?
No, absolutely fucking not. Not on this side.
It's like a Hispanic grocery store. They have chicken hearts. Potentially, I would try those. Then there's like liver. I don't know if it's chicken liver. It's some liver. I'm like, I could try that. What else is there? Liver sausage. I like liver sausage. That's just ground up liver. So I guess I'm pretty close with that. So I think if I went chicken hearts, animal liver, I'm pretty close. And then I think after liver, I would go to like deer heart. I feel like now I'm like closer. And then from deer heart, what would be what's like a intermediate step between deer heart and human human brain?
It doesn't have to be brain, just any part of the human body.
Okay, if I had to pick a body part, I don't know. I don't really get how meat works, like as a concept. Like, I guess I would have to say a muscle, right? Like, because a muscle's just meat.
There's meat.
There's not. Is there though? Isn't meat muscle? Like, there's no like meat.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I don't know about as much about meat as I thought I did.
I always thought meat was just muscle. This is the part where like someone who has like a clear high school level education on how food works, but like I'm fairly confident like all meat is just fat and muscle.
Okay, so I googled the dumbest question I've ever googled, which is where does meat come from? And it says meat comes from the muscle tissues of animals.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm smart.
This muscle tissue consists mostly of water with large amounts of proteins and smaller amounts of fats and carbohydrates. So yes,
Maybe I'd go for like a thigh.
the leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a thigh. I knew you'd say thigh, you fucking freak.
I think it has to be. It can't be.
You little
I
freak.
don't think it can be anything else. I think everything else would be a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah,
You know?
for sure.
So that's my chart, my progression towards human cannibalism, I guess. Just a few bad days and some chicken hearts.
I just kind of asked that question and then let you talk for a few minutes about how we could get you to eat human. So glad we have that recorded down for posterity's sake.
When I'm like, Your Honor, you can't listen to a podcast from 40 years ago. It does not relate the current situation with this missing person. Yeah, it'll be great.
I guess I'm titling this episode Can Anthony Sin? Because it's just back to eating human flesh.
I think the most we got to with dogs, though, was just like their toes. I think when I was listening to that part of the podcast, you were just like, yeah, a little dog nibbling on your toes. So, I mean, really, the dogs only got to the toes. Most exciting, you kept picking small dogs to talk about. We also have a good name. What was your name? What did we name this already?
What?
2 red flags. What did you?
Too many red flags. Wait, you think I should just put the punchline in the episode title?
That was the punchline? What do you mean?
It was the communist dating show. Too many red flags.
Oh, I was a bit little confused. I thought that you were going to tell me a story about communist dating, and I was like, "Oh, I'm excited to hear about this."
No, it was just a bit.
Oh.
It was just a bit.
Damn.
We talked about this.
I know we
I have a bunch of like quote unquote premise for a podcast, and then I have a joke title, and then we just don't talk about it because it's just the beginning.
I forgot. Okay, we'll have to cut this part.
And it's meaningless.
Or
no, we don't.
Do we?
You're just stuck, idiot.
Damn.
Fuck you.
Damn. Okay, so now that we're done talking about how we can get to human cannibalism, what things do you have on your list?
I saw a truck the other day, a van that said general contractor, and I thought it said genital contractor. That's it. That's my only note. I just, out of the corner of my eye, thought it said genital contractor instead of general contractor.
Like they drive around to people when they're like, "Hey, I'm here to work on your genitals." Is that what you meant? Is that what you thought?
Or they provide them.
Oh, they provide the genitals. Okay.
Yeah, they're a genital contractor. You have to contract out some genitals to get some work done.
Like they're on lease, like you've rented them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, hey, I need you to fuck my wife. Makes cucking a business.
In my head, I went like, yeah, I'm gonna have a big party this Saturday. I like have to rent out some genitals. Like,
God, I need like 12 dicks, 18 vaginas.
Yeah, it'll be a really big party. We're gonna have a huge
butthole optional.
Yeah, we're gonna have a huge
not
tent.
Genitals, but
is it not a genital? I guess it's not. Right?
No, it's just a hole.
It's just a hole. Okay, I guess that's true. Like ears aren't genitals.
Just a hole. Ears can be whatever you want. What? You're not a fan of oral sex?
But they're not what? What? Is that a thing?
Aural? Yeah, it's AURAL. It's a real word. Why are people doubting the words that I say recently?
Well, because
it means pertaining to hearing. I said the word tautology to a coworker the other day, and they were like, "That's not a real word." Hey, look it up, and I'm like, look it up right fucking now.
I think because you said it, because
a real goddamn word.
Yeah, but I think like it's probably like tautology, but you just went tautology, and I think that's probably why people thought it was fake.
Actually, it was more like we said something is something, and I was like, that's tautological as fuck.
Okay.
And they're like, what? It's not that uncommon of a word.
I think it is, though. Can this episode be called Griffin Knows Big Words?
Why did I have to make another column? We should just be working to like the side. 1 second. Wait, I'm editing this sheet. Watch this.
Okay, what sheet am I at? Okay. I'm still a little stuck on the Michigan sand dunes, so I'm trying to get more information.
Really?
I think that they're just wrong. Like, I think that it's a lot about Indiana. Like,
possible. You're all liars.
No, the Midwestern, everyone. Well, I can't say that because I'm literally telling them that they lied. So I don't know. I don't think I know words like that, if I'm being honest.
These are just all the titles we've said throughout this. I can't believe this is how we're using an Excel spreadsheet. I hate that everything I do involves a fucking spreadsheet at this point.
Yeah, that's how most of it goes.
It's just too much work.
I had a thing. Where did it go? Oh,
I have a thing.
High school. High school.
Okay, high school.
Were you in any clubs?
Yes. Middle and high school, I was in several different clubs.
Oh.
It varied depending on the year, just because I ADHD and I can't stay one thing for long.
So what were like some of the clubs you were in?
I was in chess club in middle school for like a few months. High school, I went to the video game club, obviously. I'm a dweeb. And I also did rocketry club.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, it wasn't. Actually, it was just that friends of mine were like the president, vice president, treasurer, whatever, yada, yada. And they were like, you want to join? And then it became a very social thing, but also we shot things into the sky. So
that's pretty cool. So the reason I'm asking, one, I'm gonna loop back. So technically, fun story and then my actual story. I was in the economics club and I was the treasurer for the economics club, but I was
shouldn't everybody be the treasurer?
Well, that was kind of the funny part, right? It's like, ha, we need a treasurer for the economics department or club. The reason why I was the treasurer is because I was not in any economics classes. And so the club was made of all these kids that were getting extra credit being in the class. And I just showed up to get food and like be their treasurer. And so I knew none of what they were talking about because like they were all in macroeconomics and I only take in micro because that was like the required class. And so
well, micro is far more interesting than macroeconomics.
Yeah. So it was just me in a class being like, you should vote for me being your treasurer because I don't know what you're talking about. And that was winning. That was a compelling argument. I think that's how most elections should go. That's a subsection of my story.
That's how the American presidential election went.
Yeah.
Boom. Political joke.
Boom.
All right. We got them.
Accurate.
Get wrecked, liberals.
Oh no. So my the actual segue is I was in the debate club. Did you guys have a debate club?
Of course you were. I don't, probably.
Okay.
Everywhere has a debate club. It's just talking, so it's like the easiest one to do.
Yeah. So, and actually, can I be honest? I'm already wrong.
Yeah?
It wasn't technically the debate team. It was technically mock trial.
I can't believe I debated you out of your own story.
That's why I wasn't in debate
once
team.
Once again,
I was in mock trial.
Get wrecked, liberal.
Sorry, liberals, I'm losing. But yeah, it was mock trial. And so I did it for 1 year and then I quit because I couldn't take the pressure. I couldn't take it. I was one of the, do you know the general concept of how mock trial works?
Yeah, it's like a pretend trial.
Yeah, it's just like a pretend trial where like,
or you might say a mock trial.
Oh, you're catching on. See, this is why you know big words, because you can catch on to stuff quickly.
Those are all small words.
True. 4 and 5 letter words are valid. So part of it was like you get a script. So like some people were defense lawyers, some people were attorneys. The teacher was the judge, and then people were witnesses, like character witnesses or cooperating witnesses, like things like that. And so I was a witness for the defense. Whoa. And in it, like you have to learn a bunch of lines and like learn who you are as a person, all these types of things. And so I had to play like a 60-year-old man. Like I was like I was like an elderly person out of all of the witnesses. And so we would like do it, and we had a few teams. So there was like the varsity team for mock trial. They were like the cool kids because they knew what they were doing. And then there was us, and we were like the jokesters. Where like we would go off of script, and then the teacher would be like, you can't go off script. Like you are this person. Like fine, whatever. We like practice, and then we had a competition. And so us and like 6 other schools went to the courthouse, and the judges there like were the actual judges, and we had a trial like in a full courtroom. It was really, really cool. I was like super nervous.
That's actually wild.
Yeah, like it was really cool. So like I had to sit in like a witness stand and like go under oath, and there was a real judge, and like he was doing his normal judge things, and then these children were like debating us. And so for me, my whole thing was like I have to tell the story of like, hey, I didn't see this person, or like I saw that this person did this. It wasn't the person on trial. Like I was trying to say, because I was the witness that like viewed this situation, I can prove that it wasn't the person's on trial's fault. it was like really combative where like all the people are yelling at me like, you know what you're talking about, all this kind of stuff, right? It was like really kind of cool. We were like horrible because we were like the worst of all the teams. And so then it was like 4 or 5 trials where it's the same trial, but you're like competing against different teams and you're being judged. The last trial, it was against our varsity team. So it was our same school against each other, which was really weird. One of my best friends, like he was on the varsity team and he was the like attorney that was like had to cross-examine me. And at that point, I didn't have Lasik yet. And so I was a freaking high school kid wearing like glasses. And so my friend like goes up and is like, you said that you saw this person and it wasn't the person on trial. And I was like, absolutely, I saw them.
And he was like, how can you see without your glasses? And then he gave you a wedgie and threw your glasses on the floor.
So in my character description, literally it's like a character description, it's that I don't wear glasses. Like I'm a 6-year-old. I have perfect vision. I don't need glasses. And so my friend is like, well, here it says that you don't need glasses. And I'm like, yep, that's true. And they were like, okay, interesting. But you're wearing glasses now. And I was like, oh yeah, like I like make up a lie. I was like, oh yeah, I like wear them like a little bit when my eyes get tired. And my friend was like, cool, so you'd be okay taking off your glasses? And I was like, what? And my friend is like smirking the entire time. She goes, yeah, I mean, if you don't need glasses to see far away, then you'd be okay taking off your glasses. And I was like, what? We're leaving that in because that's what happened. And the judge was like, you have to answer him. And I was like, what the fuck? And so I was like, yes, I would be okay taking off my glasses. And my friend goes, cool, then take off your glasses. And so I did. I'm now totally blind. I'm now sitting in a courtroom, fully blind. And he goes, Your Honor, can I do a little experiment? And the judge is like, go for it. My friend walks to the back of the courtroom, holds up his hand and goes, how many fingers am I holding up? And I went, 2. And the entire courtroom gasped because I was wrong. And then my friend came back and went, Your Honor, he can't see. And then we lost. Like we literally lost because I was just a physically blind human being playing someone who could see. And I was so pissed at the judge and my friend. I was like, is this allowed? And the judge was like,
yeah,
you've lied to the court. Yeah, he got my ass.
Dude, they pulled a fucking Phoenix Wright objection on your ass. Like, gee, you got owned.
Well, it was so funny because
like,
I looked to the judge and I was like, Judge, I mean, like, this is like, I'm not a 6-year-old man. And he was like, sir, if you say that you can see, then you should have no issues taking off your glasses. And I was like, yeah, but I'm actually a child. So like, why are we doing this? And yeah, then we just lost. Like literally we lost. And on the ride home, I was like, how is that fair? And my friend was like, I don't know. The judge just let me do it. And so of course I was going to do it. And so, yeah.
Because it was funny.
It was very funny. I never did it after. Like I was like, fuck this shit. I'm done. And that's why
you got clowned on by your friend and quit the club because of it.
Yeah,
I don't know, dude. I think you lost.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like technically I just didn't. It was like the end of the school year, so I just didn't do it next year because at that point I was like, I can't because anytime. So what? I can only be in the club if I'm playing someone who's blind without glasses. They can't just like make that happen every time. So that's why I'm not a lawyer. That's why.
Yeah, that's why.
Yep, absolutely. Not the years and years of study and memorization of the law, just the fact that I was fucking owned as a child. So that's my story.
That's a fantastic story. I really enjoyed that.
I was so fucking pissed. I like think about it a lot. Like it's one of those things where like whenever I'm watching Law and Order, I'm like those fucking judges. Yeah? Oh, I'm so fucking pissed.
I just imagine you like this is one of your dreams every night. You have 2 dreams a night, and one of them every so often is just like getting absolutely fucking wrecked
just dunked
by
on
your friend in a fake trial in a real courtroom. And you just wake up sweating and you just scream out the word 2.
Well, the funniest part is like he knows that I can't see.
Yeah, that's why he got you so good.
I think that summer we were like out and there was a jet ski, like we could ride a jet ski. And I was like, oh no, I can't. Cause like, I don't like glasses to fall off. And he was like, oh yeah, you're blind. Like that's your weakness. I keep beating you because you're fucking blind. And I was like, God, First the trial. Now I can't ride a freaking boat.
A skidoo.
Skidoo.
God damn it.
But now I have LASIK. So I guess if we could be sponsored. If we could be sponsored by LASIK, I would have a really good story. Like I would not have lost that trial if LASIK would have been allowed for 17-year-olds.
Is LASIK a brand or the procedure?
I think it's LASIK stands for laser assisted in situ keratomeluesis. You should say that because you know big words.
I don't know that word. Laser assisted in situ keratomeluesis. I don't know.
Sure. And it changes the shape of your cornea. Yeah. Never watch a video of it. Absolutely never watch a video.
Why? Is it just like an eye getting absolutely...
Yeah,
just,
I mean, like they have to
out.
clamp your eye open. Again, as an audio podcast, this is probably horrible because like I'm being fed directly into your brain. So it's just not great.
I do see a picture guide.
Yeah.
Where they put in numbing drops and then it says flap creation.
Yeah.
And then laser sculpting and then flap repositioning.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a lot.
Hate that.
Yeah.
I hate the imagery of the flap.
Yeah.
They're just scalpeling off the very the dick tip of your fucking
well, so they don't
cornea.
they don't use the scalpel anymore. I think they just use a laser and the laser does it.
Probably.
But this is how I remember that going. I sat in the chair and they went, "Hey, you're gonna be in this chair for like 10 minutes." And I was like, "Oh, that's not bad at all." And then they poured like solution in my eyes. So they got all milky. And then they went, "Hold this squishy ball if you feel stressed." And so I went, "I will absolutely be doing that."
I am constantly stressed.
Yes. And then they just lasered my eyes for like 5 minutes. And then they went, "You're done." I was like, "Oh, that's
nice."
Yeah. It was, I think the dollar value, I mean, the surgery is like kind of big. I mean, it's like really expensive. And so for the amount of time they actually spend on your eyes, it's like stupidly expensive. Like it's probably hundreds of dollars a minute. Like it was something where it was like, this is very expensive for clearly what the procedure is. But I get like,
it definitely takes a shit ton of expertise. You don't want somebody fucking that up.
Totally. I had to sign a waiver that was like, hey, if we permanently blind you, sorry, but it's not our fault. And so that was a cool waiver to sign. Be like, you better try your best. And they did. They did a good job. So I can see at least better than before.
At least better than before. I should hope so. Otherwise you got scammed.
No, it was great. I would recommend it to anyone listening who's blind.
Yeah.
Straight to LASIK. Don't worry about contacts. Screw contacts.
No, I'm good. I'm not that blind though. So what do I know?
Okay, I gotta see what are the things I have in my. We've
done that. You've talked about a lot of your stuff. I can pull something from my notes.
Sweet.
Okay. I found one that's good. I read this shitty fantasy story recently. So I like garbage media.
Yep.
That is self-apparent to anybody who knows me. I love trash.
So why we're making a podcast?
Yes. This is trash for me to listen to at work. I do look forward to this for the last 2 weeks, and that's it. But one of the biggest purveyors of trash is the country of Japan.
Oh.
Because they pump out not even just like anime, but specifically manga.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Because you just got to draw.
Yep.
They will pump that shit out like crazy. There's tons of new ones every month, and most of them suck. Like, if you think about it, most of their media landscape is like, it goes from like a book to a manga to an anime.
Yep.
There's a huge pipeline there, and most of the things that make it to anime are also already trash. So imagine what's still a manga.
Yeah.
So anyways, I found this really shitty fantasy story that actively pisses me off.
Okay.
It sucks. I don't even remember what most of the premise was. I don't know. Dude's like a cool wizard and he gets betrayed by his country, but he's really strong, but nobody else knows about him or something. He gets trapped somewhere for 100 years or whatever. Who cares? Point is, he gets out and he's like, I'm going to go to this country because it's a complete meritocracy. So it's like, one, that's definitely going to be a lie. Literally, the next chapter introduces the monarchy of this country.
Okay.
So not meritocratic. The next chapter after that, slavery.
Oh, God.
Also, the protagonist, this is just from my notes. I don't actually remember this, but the protagonist does like one thing and then gets boosted into riches and fame instantly.
Oh, yeah. Because the writer can't figure out how they would do it. So it's just like,
yeah.
And then 6 months later, they were really wealthy. And you're like, sure.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't even 6 months later. It's like they helped somebody high up in the government, and then the king was like, hey, bud, here's $1 bajillion and a title. Totally a 100% completely meritocratic country.
Yeah.
Anyways, here's 3 slaves that are indentured to you forever. So that was really annoying me because they really said meritocratic a lot. Maybe it was a translation error.
Yeah, I wonder.
But I doubt it based on how often it was used. I was really annoyed by that for like a week straight. I mentioned it to several people where I was like, okay, I need to rant about this for like 5 minutes because it just sucks. The writing is bad. Their political understanding is bad. Their philosophical understanding is also bad. This person is stupid and doesn't know how to write a story.
Yikes. How many chapters? Pages?
Dude, I don't even fucking know. I think they stopped translating it because it sucked.
They were like, no one wants to know.
I think that one had like a 5-star rating. It was real bad.
Yeah, it must have been a translation or something must be wrong there because that's feel like
no. I think the author just sucks on that one. I'm not gonna blame the translation team. Translations have been going up in quality, even just like the people on the internet who do it for fun.
I do feel like there's like a couple tropes there. One, the like they're super strong but no one knows is just like a giant trope that at this point.
Oh yeah. It was just like every fucking trope of like a fantasy story where it's just like a power fantasy. They have a harem from multiple romantic interests. They get betrayed right at the beginning, but because they're so cool and awesome, all the other cool and awesome people like them. No personality. That's just a comment on how people write the protagonists of those stories. I think a lot of stories are actually moving to a kind of post-fantasy stories.
What do you mean by like post-fantasy?
I'm not sure what I meant by this note, but a lot of the stories that are being written now are in the context of having a lot of fantasy stories already written. Like, obviously, you know how like Lord of the Rings influenced everything.
Yeah.
And so a lot of fantasy stories that came after that are very similar in a lot of ways. I think that stories being written now are obviously written in the context of all those stories existing.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of like either context that's assumed to be like known, like what the fuck are elves? Just as an example.
True. Yeah.
So we know what elves are, so we don't have to go into like an elaborate description of how that works.
There's just like such a great understanding.
And a cultural understanding of it. And so it's like every story we have now is in context of all of those stories. I feel like I had a much wider thought with this note. I do not remember it.
But I think that's like a good point. Like we were talking about that with like people being so excited about Game of Thrones. And it's like, there's not a lot there that's crazy. It's like medieval fantasy. And I get like, whatever. I'm sure whoever's listening to this is like, I love Game of Thrones. I watched the TV show. It was meh. I don't know. I think part of that makes it easy for people to get complacent with storytelling, where they can just be like, oh, well, like they're an elf. So like, you don't need to worry about X, Y, and Z. And it's like, I mean, sure, but it just allows you to skip a lot of like world building.
And then in 20,000 years from now, when an archaeologist or I don't even, what the fuck is the term? Language analysis person is like looking at things, and we have the world's dumbest dictionary that's just like, an elf is an elf. And they're like, what does that mean?
Yeah. Everyone understood. I don't know.
An elf is a fantasy story race.
Yeah.
What is a fantasy?
Yeah.
What is a story? What is a race?
Yeah. So have you ever heard or watched Hunter x Hunter?
No.
Okay. So
is it Hunter of Hunter? Is it Hunter x Hunter? Is it Hunter by Hunter? I know of it.
I think it's just Hunter x Hunter. I don't know if it's called. I know there's the X, but I think it is just Hunter x Hunter. But in that show, like it's really funny, and they talk about like, I'd say that's like a funnier trope of like they're just kids, but then they need money. And so over the course of like, I'm going to get this wrong. Someone's going to be like, it wasn't 20 episodes. It was 100, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But they go from being like broke to being like, oh, we have $1 billion. And I guess it's whatever. It's yen or different. It's not dollars.
Yeah.
But it's like
$1 billion yen.
Yeah. But it's like, one of those things where they're like, oh, well, how should we get money? And they're like, oh, we'll just go into a competition that like grants us 10 million per win. And then they do that for like a couple episodes and they're like, cool, we're good with money now forever. And I get like they have to do it because the story would be really boring if every anime was just like the first like season was just like me getting enough money to live. And I get they have to skip that. But it was just like funny where sometimes like they'll go back to their friends from like season 1 and they're like, oh, this is really expensive. And they'll be like, yeah, we have like millions and billions of dollars. Like, this isn't a problem for us. And like everyone else is like, holy shit, like I have to work an office job. Why do you have this money? And I think that's funny versus just being like, because I feel like you at least acknowledge like, hey, you're writing, you just didn't want to figure out how they would just be able to travel around the world. So you just kind of gave them infinite money. And that's okay.
Which is definitely a writing like idea, because having to write in somebody getting money is such a boring thing to write. Unless you have like a very funny bit you're doing with it.
Yeah.
I think that's only really interesting in comedy things. I think a lot of other genres, it's not nearly as interesting unless it's like a commentary on the industry that the person is working in.
Yeah.
It's like how writers hate smartphones.
Why?
Because they solve too many problems.
Oh.
So a lot of people just like ignore smartphones.
Like no one knows. And so they're like, who knows? And it's like, you could easily look it up.
They like either if it's set in modern day, they just like don't mention them because it really solves way too many problems.
Yeah.
Any sort of instant communication.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And like database searching is just way too good of a problem solver.
One anime.
Yeah.
That I feel like reminds me of you whenever we play fucking Dark Souls or anything. And I haven't watched it for a while because I started to and then it got like really boring. It's called Shangri-La Frontier.
I've heard of that, yeah.
And so it's like really funny where it's just like, it's got the trope of like, he's really good and like no one knows. But it's just
just like me.
Yeah, but it's just like this guy who plays really shitty video games and like he's now going to play a really good video game, but because he's played all the shitty ones, like he knows how to play with lag, and so when a game doesn't have lag, he's just like immortal is like really the concept, and like story driven.
That's not how that would work.
No, but it's just like really funny. Well, it's like a VR, right? So it's like, oh, like my reflexes are so much stronger and like faster because I don't have to account for the lag. It's like whatever.
All right, I'm gonna have to talk about science bullshit after this, but
okay.
Is there more to your story?
And so the main character, I've only watched like the first couple episodes. The main character is a guy who just wears a pair of jean shorts and like a duck hat. And that's all he wears. I am
seeing that.
Yeah. And
that is me in Dark Souls.
And it's it's funny because like every single time he fights something, he's like, if I get hit once, I'll die. And it's like, just fucking put on armor. What are you talking? Like, it's just the challenge. And so when I was watching it for the first couple episodes, I was like, this is just Griffin. This is just Griffin being dumb in most Dark Souls games. Like a clear handicap that
Except
just does not work out.
Smaller swords.
Yeah. Yeah. So, hey, what about your science?
Oh yeah. So there's another podcast I really like called Let's Learn Everything.
Okay.
And they had a whole topic about getting accustomed to like visual lag and stuff.
Yeah.
And so there was like a study with light switches where they would delay the time it would turn on and people's brains would get used to that. So it seems instantaneous.
Interesting.
But then they would turn it back to normal and the person would think that the light's turning on before they flip the switch.
Oh, weird.
Because their brain got accustomed to the lag. And so they thought things were happening faster than they actually were.
Wow. Brains are weird, dude.
Dude, brains are fucking weird, dude. Brains do weird things. Like, if they smooth, I want to chew on them.
That's a good callback.
Yeah, thanks. I was struggling to find anything, so I was like, just say a thing from before.
I do think, when I was in high school, there was always the story, and I want to look it up, where it was like, when you give people glasses or like goggles that flip their vision, up is down, left is right, right is left, that people get accustomed to it like your brain does. And then when they took the goggles off, it took a while for people's brains to like rewire the other way and they would see upside down. Did you ever hear about that?
I feel like I might have. Obviously, I can't speak to the veracity of any of those claims. I haven't tried it myself or anything, but like the eye and brain get used to like really weird things. You can put on glasses with a slight prescription and your eyes can get used to them. It's like really weird. There's God damn it, I'm doing the thing now. But there's a lot of things that your eyeballs just like, and your brain connections to the eyeballs are just like, this is normal now.
Yeah, I mean, it really just like shows like your brain's like, well, we have to live with whatever's happening. So I can't just like make this person not be able to function. I need to figure out a way for them to actively just like move around the environment.
The human brain is also like shockingly malleable.
Why do you know that? What does that mean? Maybe I should start with that. What do you mean?
It just means you can be like, it means gas keep gate light girl boss, dude.
Sure.
You can be convinced you are not immune to propaganda. Well, basically is what it means. The human brain is malleable and everything is propaganda.
Sure. It's kind of existential, but yeah. I thought you meant more about like people who have brain injuries, like your brain, like as much as people are like, oh, your brain has sections where like functions are taking place. And I think that's true. But like people that have really bad brain injuries, like I think your brain just kind of.
You're going to mention Phineas Gage, the one guy, the fucking guy, the guy in every psychology textbook.
Is there just one guy? Is there only one?
Phineas Gage.
No, okay.
No, there's other cases. He's just the famous one of the guy who got the railroad spike through the head. And then.
Yeah, but also like people that get hurt in the military.
And then he was acting totally differently.
Oh. But I think like that's just interesting. Like at some level, it's just like a sack of neurons that it's like, cool, guess we have to like reroute this way to make this person more or less functionable. And I mean, not all the time, clearly. Like obviously there are injuries.
No, yeah, I guess when I said the human brain is shockingly malleable, I meant metaphorically, but physically is also the case.
Well, I was thinking physically. Again, this goes back to cannibalism. Being back. That's why when you said it, that's why when you said it,
I think you want to eat brains.
I don't. I just, when you said it, I was like, see, you also want to, so.
Are you suffering through zombification? I said smooth brains, thank you very much, because they look like gum. Are you going through zombification? Do you feel an unnatural urge to shamble?
I do feel dead inside, so maybe that's true.
No, that's just depression.
Oh, fuck. I want to look up this thing now, but it's going to take me too long. So this will be a follow-up when I learn more. Just like more about the brain. I'll look up, how about this? Action item. I'll learn more about how brains work.
Okay.
And not how brains
like that's
taste.
An entire like field of study that we still don't have a lot of answer to because brains are weird.
True. I wish we're going to reference another podcast or another podcaster, but like, I wish I had the time that Michael Hobbs does to research for the podcast that he's on, because I feel like I would just be a smarter person. Like, I know that I have the mental capacity and overall drive to like learn to that extent, but
you're literally in school.
Well, yeah, but I don't have the time for it. Like, I don't have the time to go to school and also research crazy amounts of history.
I know, but school is for learning too.
I know, but okay. In episode 5 or 6, whichever episode this isn't, add 1 to it. We'll talk about business school and how is it really learning? Is it really?
It's just a lot of time sink.
It's just a time sink. It's just a time sink.
It demands your time and you supply it.
Yeah. That was good. That was a good.
Yeah, I was gonna segue directly into the next episode. Yeah. Except it's not, because it's a week later, so it's not exactly a segue.
I mean, we can hold a segue for a week.
You're right. But like, I feel like we should add like one more thing. You do image editing in Microsoft Word. Yeah. And I'm actively mad about that, and that's where our logo came from.
Yeah.
I like the logo, but I don't like how you made it.
We have a logo now. By now, anyone who's listened to this podcast, it never didn't have a logo, but for us who recorded and then a month happened, it now does. So yeah, I like our logo.
Bitch, it been 2.5.
Oh, well, okay.
No, just 2, actually.
I was being kind. It was being kind to us.
But yeah, that was made in Microsoft Word, and I don't know why.
Well, how would you want me to do that? We're gonna fight right now. We're gonna fight the end of this podcast.
I don't know in an image editing software.
Like what?
I don't know why your first instinct was Microsoft Word.
Because I don't know how else I would have done it. Like, I mean, Notepad. Like I would have gone to Notepad or MS Paint.
You can, you can type words into MS Paint.
Yeah, but I don't think MS Paint has the level of like structure. Like it was nice to be able to like format it a little bit easier than MS Paint. But yeah, Google Docs. It wasn't actually Google Docs. It was Microsoft Word. Thank you, Microsoft. But like, I think I thought I was clever. And I think you thought I was clever until I sent you the file of the Word doc. And that's when you became angry.
I think I became angry when you started sharing your screen and it was just a Word document.
A Word doc. Hey, it's a cool.
Yeah, no, that's actively when I started to become angry.
I think it's a good screen. I'll take the logo. It will never change.
It is a good logo.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Unless we make a lot of money.
No, I meant more like, should we ever change the logo, like the names that are crossed out?
I mean, if we do this for long enough, then yeah.
Okay, we'll have seasons. We'll do next season. Next season will be a different.
Season. We'll do some. What would we fucking mark as a season, dude?
We get to decide. We get to just decide what a season is. And also, can a season not be the weather season? Because also, Wisconsin has too many seasons, and so I can't do that.
I think I'm fine with that. All right. Thanks for listening to this episode of All the Human Knowledge About the Brain. I'm Griffin. This is Anthony.
Hello.
Tell your friends. Like, comment, subscribe. You can contact us at tbtlpod@gmail.com. We also upload these onto YouTube and everywhere else.
Did you say Spotify?
Thanks for listening. But what?
Did you say Spotify? Did I
said everywhere.
I know, but you gotta say Spotify because that's where I want people to view it.
Okay, yeah, it's on Spotify. It's also on Apple Podcasts, the one I listen to.
Okay, well, listen to it at both places. Okay, goodbye.
I mean, yeah, it gets our numbers up, but also there's a YouTube channel. I don't know, it doesn't have anything extra. You can comment on there to get in contact with us too. Oh,
that's true. The YouTube you can comment.
Yeah, that's really the reason I mention it. Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
And delete Craig.